Good morning or good afternoon to everyone, depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Eric Betts, and I'm Content Manager here at Fluke Reliability, home to eMaint and Proof Technic. And I've got to say, I think today's presentation is going to be valuable for people working in all roles and industries across maintenance and reliability. Today's speakers are Rogers and Brian Tollison from Cintas, and they're here to talk to us about ergonomics and maintenance. But before I formally introduce Woody and Brian, I'm just going to cover a few housekeeping topics. Today's webinar is being recorded, and we'll share a link with you after the event. You'll also be able to find it on our Fluke Reliability YouTube channel if you want to revisit the content or share it with your colleagues. As always, we also invite your comments and your questions. There's a Q&A chat box there on the screen. If you think of a question for Woody or Brian at any point, you can just type it in there, and I'll either pose it to them or hold it for the discussion portion at the end of the event. Okay, as I said, today's presenters are Woody Rogers and Brian Tollison from Cintas, and they are maintenance partners at Cintas location 45 in Greensboro, North Carolina. And together they have more than nearly 50 years of experience in maintenance, and their location was the first Ergonomics Excellence Center at Cintas in 2014. Since then, they've helped develop multiple ergonomic solutions, I think many dozens of them, that have benefited different departments and divisions across Cintas. Some of those solutions have even earned them awards over the last 5 years. So Woody, Brian, thank you so much for being here. And with that, I'll hand it over to you for today's talk.
All right, well, thank you. And again, my name is Woody Rogers.
And I'm Brian Tollison.
And we are excited to be speaking here today and presenting today to all of you here at Fluke. And the theme that we're discussing today is the ergo game changers, finding hidden problem solvers in your organization. Now, Brian and I, we're just two frontline maintenance partners that work here at Cintas 45 in Greensboro, but we do love ergonomics. Now, our main responsibility is, of course, to maintain a well-running, efficient plant. And we continually strive for our location to be world-class in reliability, but also in safety. And we also work on a lot of different projects. We work on different pilots and even some beta tests for Cintas. And we've helped on a lot of projects, even with Fluke. So really finding the time to develop ergonomic ideas has always been a big challenge for us. However, my motto has always been to make the equipment better than new, which, believe it or not, because of enhancements and improvements that we have made, our equipment here at our location does run more efficient and is more reliable than it was when it was new. Every year we actually run a little bit better. Now, because of this, because it does run more reliable, this does help to give us more time to work on different projects. But the reason that I mention all this is because this motto or mentality actually goes hand in hand with ergonomics. See, both of us have always had that desire to try to help improve the quality of life of our fellow partners. And let me back up and say that when I say partners, that's the same as employees. Here at Cintas, we call everybody partners, so I may use that interchangeably a little bit, but we try to make everyone's jobs really better than new, which is really what you can say is ergonomics is all about, isn't it? You know, whether it's a change in the process of how we do something or in designing or making a new device, which we do love to do, we always try to make their jobs a little bit easier. We try to make their jobs a little less risky, and we try to make their jobs a little bit more efficient than they were before.
So even though we are busy, and we try to overcome our time crunch by finding the time to work on ergonomics by prioritizing our schedules. In other words, we make time for what is important, and making our partners' jobs better than new is a priority. You know, we didn't go to school to be an ergonomist. However, we've had continual training in ergonomics and consider ourselves ergonomic practitioners. You know, over the years, you know, we have developed quite a number of ergonomic solutions at Cintas, and these are just some of the solutions that we've come up with. You know, we've tried to look at most every position in the plant, from the office, production, and service, to try to make their jobs better than new. Now, some of our solutions, they only affect a few people, but we believe that all of our ergonomic solutions are important, even the ones that just affect one person at a location. Here you can see we have this is our bulk cages, where once they bag all the bulk, used to they would have to throw all the bulk product bags over and into the top. So what we've done is added adjustable doors so that to load it, they can drop the top here and load more in their power zone. And then when they reach in to get it, they can open the bottom door and reach in instead of having to reach up and under to get the product out.
Yeah, that really makes a huge difference in how they're able to stay upright in a neutral posture and work in their power zone. And then in our stock room, well, we came up with these carts. And what they have to do is they have to take these clothes with the hangers on them, and they have to scan it, and they have to find different ones. Well, instead of having to hold a stack of clothes and scan the barcodes and write down what they need or don't need, well, we gave them a way to where they can roll this around and put the hangers with the clothes on each side, and they can easily scan and lay their paperwork and also their scanner on the top. It makes their job so much easier, and they don't have to hold anything, and they can stay upright and without straining.
So here, we stayed with a simple idea of just making a transferable handle. These carts are rather small, and they hold them underneath the bulk tables to throw rewashables in. So they would have to bend over, you can see out of their power zone to push the cart back to the rewash table. So what we done was, like I said, we just put these handles that they can move from each cart so they can push it back in their power zone.
Well, this idea right here was a huge one. It may just look like a simple table, and it is, but it was a huge idea that really helped our unload partners. See, at Cintas, when all the trucks come back, they're full of dirty garments, dirty bulk, mats, and they have to be unloaded. Well, they would have to sort these things out. So they would actually throw them on the ground and start sorting out the different garments. Well, what we did is we gave them a table that they can easily throw into, and then they can stand up and sort while they're in a neutral position, right here in their power zone. That made a huge difference. Instead of having to bend over and sort and pick things up off the floor, now it's right there. That was a huge accomplishment that helped their lives out. And then with this device right here, well, we also have to put this plastic over certain garments that customers want. Well, instead of having to hold a stack of hangers right here and take your other hand and put the plastic and work it up over the clothes, well, now what we did is we came up with a mobile station that you can hang the clothes on, and you just take the wrap and roll it over and slide it down over top. It's actually faster, but it's also, you don't have to sit there and hold the clothes and struggle and fight with it. So it helped. It was a huge thing for our load partners there.
And here we developed a trolley loading station. As the garments come out of our steam tunnel, it was actually having to pick them up and load them onto each trolley in big bunches. So what we done was we just made this loading station to where they park the trolleys in front of it. They just leave the garments on the slick rail, push it right up, it loads onto the trolley, and they just move it down and load the next trolley, and they just keep repeating that process instead of having to continually pick it up and put it on each trolley.
Yeah, and really, when you think about it, they're not picking up a whole stack of clothes and putting them on there. They just slide them on. So much easier and actually faster. But then another idea that we came up with is here on our boiler. Now, our boiler, we shut it on and off every day. We have to shut this main valve off to actually, so steam's not continually going out. So it runs more efficient that way. But instead of having to get a ladder and go up and shut the valve, what we did is we actually made an A-frame, and we extended the chain, the valve out, and added a chain to it so that now you can stand, and anyone can stand in their power zone right here and in a neutral position and turn the chain on and off instead of climbing up and down. That made a huge difference every day on the partners that have to do this.
And here we done basically it's just a simple scanner holder. This is our grading station. They have to scan the garments. So instead of them having to hold a scanner and hold the garments at the same time and scan as they walk them across the table, now they just simply keep the scanner in the holder, and they can scan the barcode as they pull it by, and then do their measurements and not have to hold the scanner.
Yeah, so much easier. And then we also came up with this idea right here. It's another scanner position, because see, at Cintas, at our location, we'll actually have to scan every garment that comes out of our steam tunnel. That's about 15 to 20,000 pieces a day. So you would have to take this scanner gun and hold it where you're holding that weight all day long. It's going to get heavy after a while. What we did is we came up with the idea of a tool balancer, and we mounted it on a rail that slides up and down with the rail. So now you don't have to hold the scanner. You can actually it holds the weight for you, the tool balancer. All you have to do is point and aim so that you can scan the barcode. Takes all that weight off of you all day long for all those different garments. It helps out our partners a lot.
And here we have, back in our boiler room, this is a boiler guard that guards all of our boiler chemical pumps. Well, our boiler rep is an older gentleman, and he was having an issue picking the guard up, taking it off, and putting it back on. So we done the same thing. We put it on the same trolley system and just made it where he can take one finger and slide it right out of the way and put it right back, instead of having to lift it on and off each time he had to make an adjustment to the pumps.
Yeah, so it took all that straining out of that job so that he can easily, just one finger now, just move the entire guard out of the way. And it's a safety thing. But then this is a station here. You just see a table. That's what we call a PAMI station. It's where we hang the pants at. Now, we did a lot of things to this station to make it more ergonomic. First of all, we actually cut the table in half, modified it to where it's only half as big as it was, because that's actually all that was used. And that made it to where they don't have to reach out as far to get his garments out of a cart. And also now they can get the full cart so that it's faster, it's more efficient. And what we also did is we made that table, we angled it a little bit different to make it easier for the person to hang. And then we even added a motor to the bottom of the table so that they can make the table go up or down according to their height with the flip of a switch. So they can work in their power zone in a comfortable area, in a neutral position. So really, that table made a huge difference, but it also sped up our partners. They were hanging, just with this addition, 200 more pieces a day, automatically, without doing anything else, without struggling. It made them that much faster. So it was an efficiency point, but it made their life easier.
You know, and here, this is our stock room where they keep all the garments. So basically what we done was we noticed that the pants were on the bottom and the shirts were at the top, but the barcodes were either way up higher or way down low. So we swapped them so that, and we adjusted the rails to maximize the power zone so that they can scan the barcodes and pick in their power zone instead of having to bend down to scan and reach way up to scan.
A simple thing, it took a little while to do, but the barcodes are here and the barcodes are here. So now you're scanning in this zone instead of like this and bending over like that. Huge difference. Now, again, we're not going to go over all, these are all just some of the solutions that we have already done. And believe me, we could put up a lot more slides. So you may wonder, why do we keep making all these different solutions? Especially when our normal jobs of maintenance keep us busy enough as it is. Well, let me put it this way. Whenever you make a partner's or an employee's job easier, you make it less risky, and then they go home and they're not as tired. Well, it makes you feel good, because you know what? You know that you're making a difference in their life. You're making their life better. And when these partners come up to you and they smile, and sometimes they'll say thank you, and believe it or not, sometimes they'll give you a hug, and they truly mean it. That's when you know that all the effort that you put into making these different solutions and coming up with these different ideas, all the effort you put into it, you can see that it's worthwhile because it's making a difference in other people's life. And see, that is our motivation. It's basically just simply to try to help others. Now, this motivation is the reason why we're persistent in developing different solutions. You know, we never stop looking for new ways to try to make things better than new. That motto again. We're always looking for new ways. Now, Cintas calls that positive discontent, but really it comes natural to us. In other words, we're never satisfied. You know, we continually look for the next solution of what we can do to try to improve things, to try to be, you know, what can we do to make things more efficient? What can we do to make things safer for everyone?
However, out of all of these different solutions, you know, we have only entered 3 into the Applied Ergonomics Conference and 1 into the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers.
So what we're going to do is we're actually going to show a video of what we entered. Oh yeah, there we go. What we entered into the Applied Ergonomics Conference. This is one of the ideas that we presented to them, and let us play this so you can get an idea of what this device does.
At Cintas, we rent uniforms and mats and provide facility services products, all of which are delivered to the customer by our service sales reps, or SSRs. As part of our ergonomic program, our SSRs provide feedback on ways to improve the safety of their daily routine. This uncovered several opportunities for improvement of the SSR's cart. Nearly 50 times per day, the cart is used to bring products into the customer and then remove their soiled items. But the cart is bulky, and getting it in and out of the truck adds risk to a job that is already physically demanding. To make this process safer, we installed a hoist system to the back of the truck that assists the SSR in lifting and lowering the cart. While en route, our SSR pushes the cart in and out of the customer locations in a position that requires bending. To correct this situation, we added the option of inserting a handle to the cart. This allows the SSRs to push from the preferred power zone position. When scanning garments at the customer site, the SSR has to bend to pick up and scan each garment and place it in the cart. By adding a cart topper, the SSR now has a waist-high work surface to use when scanning, which eliminates multiple bends. These modifications to the cart have significantly reduced the ergonomic risks for our SSR, who is now ready for the workday.
So as you can see here, this is one of the things that we entered into the Applied Ergonomics Conference competition. And this is a device that we came up with, and the first time that Cintas had ever entered into this competition. And this is an international competition where people from all over enter this in. We actually won an Ergo Cup for our solution. Now I'm going to tell you, we were excited at this point. I mean, we were really stoked at this point because, you know, we were just happy to even be accepted to compete at this competition. And then we went on and won an Ergo Cup. This was a huge accomplishment. We were excited about this. But you know what? Over the years, we didn't stop there. And then later on, what we did is another entry that we entered into the AEC, the Applied Ergonomics Conference, was the trolley tugger. Now, we're going to show you the video on this also so that you have an idea of me trying to explain it. We'll show you the video here that goes along with this so you have an idea of what it is and what it does.
At our Cintas uniform processing plants, we cycle through 12,000 to 14,000 garments daily. After they are cleaned, dried, and hung up, uniforms are stored on a trolley rail system until delivery day. Each storage rail hosts a train of 40 to 50 trolleys that measures 80 to 100 feet in total length. With that many trolleys on one rail, the weight of the trolley train exceeds 2,000 pounds. Moving the trolley trains into and out of storage is done manually by Cintas employees. This task occurs about 100 times per day. When an employee manually handles a row of trolleys, it requires 70+ pounds of startup force to get the line moving. Additionally, the handhold of the trolley train is 70 inches off the floor, which is out of the power zone for most workers. This results in at-risk positions for the wrists, shoulder, neck, and back during manual material handling. We wanted to solve the issue that our employees were experiencing by creating an engineered solution. After making several attempts and redesigns, we finally came up with a battery-operated trolley tugger. We started with a right-angle drill and added a speed control dial to it. We then mounted a lightweight aluminum ergonomic handle with a thumb reverse switch on it. The reverse feature allows the trolley train to be both pushed and pulled by the device. To ensure that the device could handle the load, we used a rubber isolation pad and modified it into a V shape, so it would conform to the shape of the rail system. In our last iteration, we added springs, which made it easy to attach and remove the device from the rail system while simultaneously maintaining a constant tension on the rail. In using the trolley tugger, the issues of overreach and high handling forces have been remedied. Our employees can now complete their task while maintaining a risk-free neutral posture. However, the biggest impact has resulted from the elimination of push-pull forces. The engineered device has removed the 70-plus pounds of startup force required for each of the 50 trolley trains that are pushed into storage and another 50 trolley trains that are pulled out of storage each day. That is a force reduction of 7,000 pounds per day, or 1.8 million pounds per year.
So as you can see there, that device really helped that young lady that she's our stockroom person, partner that does this. And that device really helped her. She was struggling to pull that trolley train without the trolley tugger. We came up with that device, built it, and now she can just move with just pressing a button, moving the entire trolley train. Took all the force off of her. She doesn't have to strain anymore. And we entered that in, and let me tell you, we won another cup for that. That was a huge accomplishment. That was another, that was the Ergo Cup with the AEC. And let me tell you, as far as this device right here, if you were to try to take it away from her, well, she would fight you for it at this point. She really loved, I mean, it made a huge difference in how she felt and how she went home every single day. So we were happy that we were able to help her. But you know, we didn't stop there. We actually, and this was during COVID. And during COVID, you know, we couldn't, at Cintas, we couldn't travel from one location to another. We had to come here, and this is all we could go. However, we found out that the fire division, which Cintas has many different divisions, first aid, fire, and so forth, we found out that the fire division was having a different issue, and we had an idea for them. And we actually worked with them through Zoom to try to come up with a solution for them. Well, let's play the video that goes along with this so you can see what we entered into the AEC competition for the fire hook.
My name is Rogers, and this is Brian Tollison. Along with support from Jordan Gladman, we designed and created the Ergo extinguisher hook. Brian and I are maintenance partners that work for the rental uniform division of Cintas Corporation at location 45 in Greensboro, North Carolina. Our location was the first Ergonomics Excellence Center at Cintas. So when Jordan Gladman, who is an ergonomics engineer, brought to our attention an ergonomic issue that another division of Cintas, our fire division, was having, we decided to help. Presently, as demonstrated here by Brian, our fire division partners carry hundreds of fire extinguishers a day doing annual inspections and often carry multiple fire extinguishers in their hands at once. As they go through a facility, they do not know which fire extinguishers must be taken out to their vehicle to be serviced until they inspect each individual extinguisher. So it could be several or none. Carrying multiple extinguishers creates awkward bending motions and force on their fingers, forearms, back, shoulders, and neck, as you can plainly see. This happens at every fire extinguisher station and every door they must open. After working with and getting feedback from different ones in the fire division and creating several versions, we fabricated an in-house fire extinguisher hook that eliminates poor wrist posture and reducing back motions while carrying multiple extinguishers over a distance. We made our fire extinguisher hook mostly out of aluminum, so it is lightweight. We gave it an ergonomic handle for proper wrist posture and so that you can have full control in moving the fire extinguishers. We made it so that you could hang on your belt loop when not in use, and we made the hooks fold up collapsible so that the fire division partner has the option to carry the hooks in the side pockets of their standard cargo pants. This makes it easy to always have the hook when you need it and prevents the hooks from snagging on anything as they walk. To prevent bending over, we also made the hooks fully adjustable to match the different heights of the partners using it and for different size fire extinguishers. As demonstrated by Brian again, he can now carry the same number of fire extinguishers, but this time he has an ergonomic posture and is in full control of the load with minimal bending as he goes throughout a facility. We use the Six Sigma DMA-IC improvement process as a tool in our ergonomic initiative with the goal to prevent fire division partners from bending over to carry multiple fire extinguishers using just their hands and fingers in an awkward position. We have worked with the fire division to come up with a product that is easy to use and is self-sustaining while at the same time has a more professional look.
So, as you see here, this is another idea that we worked with the fire division. And we did this all through Zoom. We would send them a product and they would give us feedback and then we'd make adjustments until we finally came up. And now this is a production model that the fire division is using that they can just buy from a manufacturer now. Well, we entered this into the AEC, their Applied Ergonomics Conference, and we won another Ergo Cup for this. And we also entered this into the ISE, the Institute of Industrial Systems Engineers, and won a cup with them as well. So you can see that we were excited at this point. So 3 times, and we had won 3 cups and another cup with the ISE.
And you know, we chose to enter these solutions pictured here into the AEC and the IISC competitions over the last few years because they're the ones that really help a lot of partners and really reduce some of those risky tasks. And you know, as you can see, you know, we have had some success over the years, and you know, we are proud of the solutions that we've come up with. So you can say we might not be as hidden to Cintas as we once were, but we feel that we have been some of those hidden problem solvers in our organization.
And we dare say that there are also hidden problem solvers in your organization that are really just waiting to be found. So how did we get here on this ergonomic journey as ergo game changers? Well, it goes all the way back to when Cintas first started looking at ergonomics back in late 2014. They actually used our location that we work at to pilot ergonomics. Now, we already had a well-running location, we had strong management partners, but part of the reason that they picked our location is because of maintenance. See, we already had the mindset to continually make improvements, to make the equipment run more efficient with less downtime, etc. To, again, that motto, to make the equipment run better than new.
You know, we had that desire to help people, you know, this including making the people's jobs better than new as well. You know, and the funny thing about it was, you know, we were already making ergonomic improvements without even knowing that it was ergonomics.
And that's true. We just didn't know, about ergonomics, but we were doing it at the same time. So it was a good fit for us to do that pilot. Well, the first thing that was done though was, of course, training. Basic ergonomic training, as you can see right here. And we had Stephen Jenkins, he was our brand new, he was just hired as our new corporate ergonomist. And he came in and we started learning what ergonomics was. This training was truly invaluable. See, we learned why it's best to work in our power zone, how we don't want to reach out too far to do different things. And we found out how how we really need to eliminate any awkward and, twisting and risky motions, bending over so much. We wanted to reduce all those things and reduce the force even of different tasks. Then once we found all this out, then as a group, we went out into the plant. We started looking at different jobs to see what kind of issues we could see, what we saw. And then we started discussing how we could make improvements to these different processes and different jobs, what we could do to make these things better. And to be quite honest, this was really right up our alley, because as maintenance, this is what we do every day with the equipment. See, troubleshooting. This training was just what we needed to help us to understand how we need to look at things, really, you can say, from different angles, to really try to eliminate different risky motions and forces. And this training really enabled us to, you might say, to really take things to the next level.
Yeah. And, of course, the leaders of our locations, they're the ones that receive the in-depth training. But then everyone in our location received basic ergonomic trainings. This was very important because even though a lot of people could see that, there's a problem with the process or doing a certain task, not everyone has a desire or an ability to fix it. Or maybe that desire has been stifled. So, they'll just do their jobs the way it is and go home.
Yeah. See, this training not only helped them to understand why it's good to try to work in your power zone here, or how to reduce risky motions, but it helped them to see that they also have a conduit. Yeah, see, they can voice their thoughts and opinions to try to help make their jobs better. As you can see here, this is one of the things that we did. See, once everyone had a basic understanding of ergonomics, we started holding internal ergo competitions here at our location in Greensboro. And to really try to encourage and engage our partners, we did this to try to help them to start thinking of ergonomic issues and then even potential solutions. And then during our normal monthly management ergo safety meeting, well, we then voted on the best ideas that these frontline partners had. And you can see here that these are some of the solutions that they presented to us. And also you can see some of the awards that they won, like TVs and Yeti coolers. And it really helped to encourage them to come up with ideas.
Now maintenance and management, we weren't eligible to enter. This really helped to motivate our frontline partners to start thinking about, not just the problems, but, they would also include possible solutions that they had thought of. Now, not everyone's idea was realistic to implement, but some were viable ideas.
Yeah. However, to encourage everyone to really to continue to keep their ideas and also any possible solutions flowing, one thing that we did is we always acknowledged everyone's idea. It didn't matter if the idea was good or bad. We still went to that person. We would go up and talk to them. We would thank them for the idea and then explained if it was something that we could do at that time or not. Sometimes we could, sometimes we couldn't. But sometimes we would even discuss different options that we could try. Well, see, over the years, we found that, we would consistently get good ideas from the same people. And we found this to be an excellent way to find some of those hidden problem solvers within our frontline partners. Because when you stop and think about it, who really knows a particular job better than the ones that actually do it? See, they know. So if you can get them to give you solutions, you can actually run with that. And this has led to having a lot of their solutions being highlighted on the Cintas Ergo Solutions catalog, which can then help other Cintas locations because they can look at this catalog and see what we did, or we can see what others did, so that you can actually try to help even further partners at other places. And then this can even lead to a possible entry into the Cintas, the National Ergo Cup competition.
So, that's how that we found some excellent problem solvers in our organization. But, the real question is, how do you find the hidden problem solvers that are ergo game changers?
Well, basically, a problem solver is someone that sees a problem and, they'll think about it, and then they'll figure out a way to fix it. Well, ergo game changers are partners, are ones that will develop from problem solvers. See, they're partners, they're ones that you might say they rise to the top, as it were. Whereas most problem solvers focus on just what affects them. However, an ergo game changer are ones that go beyond just what affects them. See, a game changer is someone that can not only see a problem, but they also have a true desire to fix the problem that others have. So they look around and see what is affecting others to try to make their job, or try to make it better than new, as it were, again, that motto. And really, if you stop and think about it, anytime that you can make a job more productive and efficient by improving, or you can say making a person's job easier, well, guess what? You have made it better than new. In other words, a game changer is someone that has that real desire to simply help improve other people's quality of life. Now don't get me wrong, it is nice to win awards and everything, but see, that's not the motivation. See, the reason you look at making changes needs to be focused on helping people. Because really, if you're focused on helping people, that's when you're going to come up with, you can say, the right solution.
And a game changer is also someone that will dig till they get to the root of the problem. Sometimes you can easily see a problem and the solution, but sometimes you have to go back and look at the entire process to expose the root of the problem. That's when you start asking questions like, is there a better way to do it? If I change how we do part of the process now, will it affect another part of the process for better or worse?
Yeah, you really have to ask those questions to get to the root of a problem. But a game changer is also someone that wants to discuss and really bounce ideas off of others. Because when you think about it, when you get different people's views or different, you can say, angles of the same problem, well, it really helps. Because sometimes when you see a problem, a solution does instantly pop into your head. That happens. But see, most of the time, you have to talk it out. See, this has always been an advantage that Brian and I have, because we freely bounce ideas off of each other, just like in the caption here. We're always willing and open to listen to each other's suggestions, but we go beyond that. We also listen to the ones, especially the ones that do the work. See, when we do this, when we listen to them and we talk it out, this is when we come up with some of the best solutions. Now, a game changer also isn't afraid to think outside of the box. Again, you have to look at things from different angles to try to come up with a way to make improvements to a process or a job. And this really takes a lot of creative thinking. Some of the ideas, I'm just going to say it, some of the ideas that we have come up with, they seemed a little crazy or even off the wall at the beginning. But when we start thinking, why not? Hey, let's give it a try. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You don't know until you try. And these have sometimes been some of our best ideas when we think outside of the box, as it were. The thing is that you don't want to really limit yourself. Never be afraid to try.
Just like Woody said, a game changer is someone that is not afraid to fail. In other words, they will go back to the drawing board if they need to and start over. Ergo game changer is someone that wants to try to find the right solution to really help people, rather than to try to prove themselves right or force a solution onto someone.
Yeah. And really, you can't be afraid to fail. And it's going to happen. Every solution that you try doesn't work.
Yeah. Like it says here, fail your way to success.
Yeah. You have to do that. You have to just keep trying until you come up with the right solution. And see, over the years at Cintas, we have found different ones that you can say have developed into those ergo game changers. And these ones have come from problem solvers. And this has even led here at Cintas to the formation of the Cintas Ergo Inventors team. And like Rocky right here. Rocky is a maintenance supervisor at a different location on, I think, the West Coast. And he actually came up with an idea that really helps his partners out with their washer doors. He came up with this device that assists in opening and closing their washer doors, the style that they have. And it really helps their partners out, and they love it. But then, like with Herman here, well, he came up with this idea because his partners were having to bend over so much to do these different things. He came up with this automatic table guides. It helped the whole process out. It's more efficient, but it helped his partners from having to go outside of their power zone, outside of they are able to stand now in a neutral posture. And then Timra, well, she's a catalog manager, but again, she has that desire to try to help people. And she saw that some of the partners there, some of the employees there, well, they were having to bend all the way over to get stuff out of the bottom locker. Well, what she came up with is a locker lift. And what it does is it brings, once you open the door, it brings the product up to you so that now they don't have to bend over down to the floor to get stuff out of the locker. It makes their job so much easier. And then Joe, well, he's a production manager. Well, he saw that his partners were having an issue with this, having to push garments all the way around. Well, he came up with this air-assisted lift that actually, you might say, makes a shortcut. It makes the job that much easier, but it also is more efficient. It's more productive with that, but they're not having to push those garments as far. And then also, he came up with this PAMI extender so that the partners don't have to reach out to get the hangers. Now they can they're staying in their power zone still, and it's right there. And this also, again, is more efficient, it's more productive, but they're not having to reach out so far. It makes their job easier. So really, all these different ones here are some of the ones here at Cintas that have been part of the first, this is the first round of the inventors team here at Cintas. And, you know, we're part of that team also. So you can see that these are the different ones.
Yeah, it's like Woody was just saying, you know, these are all partners from across the nation and different countries that have risen to the top to become the ergo game changers in our organization. You know, we have all received additional training, and even though, you know, we are all at different locations, we are now working together as a team to solve some of the more difficult ergonomic problems at Cintas. So how do you find the ergo game changers in your organization?
Well, before we go any farther, let's go back to the poll question there. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask a poll question. So hopefully after, you know, you can see the question here. What is the main purpose of ergonomics? And if you would just choose which one do you think is the best answer for you. And it's increased productivity, increased efficiency, improved quality of life, improved employee morale, or is it all of the above? Well, if you would, maybe just take a second and pick one of these, and then we'll just briefly go over the answer there. Well, as you can see, some of the, as you can see, some of the answers that are coming in, it looks like the majority are picking all of the above. Well, to be honest, there is no wrong answer on this list. All of these things are what the purpose of ergonomics is. It does increase productivity. It does increase efficiency. It does improve the quality of life, which is our main purpose for why we do ergonomics. But it also improves employee morale. It does have a huge part in that. So really, all of the above is a correct answer. So really, there was no wrong answer in this poll, but we just wanted to see what your thoughts were on that. So thank you for taking that poll with us. But let's move on to the next slide here. And this is a summary, basically. Now, we've been talking about ergo game changers. How do you find them? Well, to find ergo game changers, you first of all have to have problem solvers. You have to develop problem solvers. And see, problem solvers, to find those ones that will help you solve these problems, training is vital to really focus on. You have to have training, period. You need to encourage these ones, which means that you need to talk to these ones. And when they give you an idea, you need to respond to them and let them know that, hey, I hear what you're saying. And then motivate them by means of location-based ergo contests. That's one thing that we have done at our location to really help encourage everyone to give their ideas. And again, be responsive by listening and communicating with everyone. Don't let any of these ideas slide through. And as long as you keep responding to them, they'll keep giving you ideas. So that's how you get those problem solvers. But then the ergo game changers, well, they're the ones that's going to naturally rise to the top from the problem solvers because, well, first of all, they have a true desire to help others by making it better than new. You have to have that desire to try to help others. That's how you're going to become an ergo game changer. You have to continually dig down to find the root cause of the problem. You can't look at the surface. You got to dig down into it and actually see what the problem is. And then, game changers, they're going to also love to bounce ideas off of each other because they know that that's when you're going to come up with better ideas, better solutions, when you're bouncing ideas off of each other's and looking at things from different angles. And, and going along with that, you don't want to be afraid to think outside of the box. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try. Look at solutions from different angles. And that's how, we try to do that. And again, as we mentioned before, you definitely do not want to be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to go back to the drawing board. And believe me, we have had to go back to the drawing board multiple times. It's not, you usually don't have the final solution at the beginning. You usually have to try something. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, but you see what you need to build on from there. So never be afraid to fail. Again, what really makes ergo game changers stand out is their desire. We want to help people improve the quality of their lives, which is really what drives us to never stop thinking and trying to see how we can help people.
So we're going to challenge you.
Yeah, we're going to challenge you. We're going to challenge you to train, to develop, and try to find these ones that will rise to the top and become ergo game changers in your organization. So, what questions do you have?
Brian, Woody, that was great. Thank you so much for that presentation. We do have a couple questions that have been submitted, and just a reminder to everyone, if you have a question you haven't submitted yet, you can enter it in the Q&A chat box there, and we'll get through just as many questions as time allows. A couple people have asked if the deck will be available after the presentation, and yeah, we will share that, as well as a recording of today's session, which will be on our YouTube channel. So I'll just jump into it, guys. The first question that came up was, what is the power zone? Can you talk a bit about what that is?
Yeah, sure. Actually, the power zone is right here. This is actually our ergo stick that we have. And what it does is it helps you see here, you want to work in the green zone. And what that means is that you want to be right here. You want to work, you don't want to work up here because that's extending too far out. You're not very strong right there, but you're strongest right here. You can handle the most things easily right here in your power zone. This is where you want to work, right here in front of you, without having to extend out, without having to go too far this way or anything. You want to stay right here in the green zone, if at all possible. That's your power zone. Does that kind of make sense?
That makes sense to me. That was a great explanation. Appreciate the prop too. The next question, guys, can you give some advice on how to start selling ergonomic solutions to leadership? And the questioner says things like carts, so people don't have to hold things.
Well, really, you do have to have management buy-in. If you want to keep your program going, you do have to have management buy-in. And really, what we have seen is that when we've implemented different ergonomic ideas, oftentimes it makes the process even more productive. You know, just like we mentioned at the very beginning with that PAMI station, that was an excellent example. When we did that work and modified that station to make it more ergonomic for the person, well, they hung 200 more garments a day without doing anything else. Just automatically, they were hanging faster, and it was easier for them, so that they were, and really it helped the partner out. But when you do these different ergonomic ideas, you need to be able to document and show before and after, so that you can see and continue to help your management partner see that, hey, it's not only helping our partners, but it's helping the business also, because it is making you more productive. And oftentimes, even with like casters that make things roll easier and things like that, it's going to help reduce different injuries even. So your injury rate should go down as you implement these ideas, because you're eliminating forces, you're eliminating awkward motions, you're not bending over, you're trying to eliminate all those things that can cause injuries. So, you know, you're helping to reduce the cost of injuries, but also you're making your partners and your processes more productive overall.
You know, and another thing to look at would maybe start with something less expensive. You know, if you can start with something cheaper rather than something that's really expensive, and it shows a benefit, you know, that'll get their interest into it, and then they'll start buying into it. And then you can gradually work your way up and get to harder ergonomic problems.
Yeah, that's a key. That is definitely a key, to start small, you know, and get the things you can do really quick and easy, and then, you know, develop from there.
I think you guys just answered this one a bit, but building off that last one, there's another question that says, do you have ways of showing the ROI?
Well, actually, I mean, there are a lot of ways that you can show the return on investment. First of all, with productivity is one way that you can actually show an increase on your ROI, because whatever you design, and actually that's why it's good to start with the small things first, because it's real easy to show the ROI on those. And, you know, because there's not that much to cover. So, you know, really when you do that, how can I say this? When you start out, you can actually show, you need to record things beforehand, how much a person was doing, the process, how much, you know, product they were moving, or whatever the case is, and then show the after effects. Then you can calculate how much better the process is, or even, you know, the job itself.
Yeah, like Woody said, you know, I think we track motions,
yeah,
and stuff like that. So if you can, like, you know, track the motions and show that, hey, this person's doing this less and all that, that would really help.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, we do track motions overall on the different solutions that we try to show how many emotions we've eliminated over time. That's one of the key things that we do here, to kind of track how our process, how much better our process is when we come up with these ideas.
The next question we have is, how has ergonomics benefited Cintas?
Ooh. Really, well, here at our location, here's what I'm going to say. Since years ago, we had one thing is injuries. We've actually not had an injury in the plant in years. I mean, it's been years. I'd have to go back and look how many now. Ergonomics plays a huge part in that, because we've eliminated a lot of these motions that are risky, forces and everything, so that we're making, you know, the job safer. So just eliminating injuries is a huge thing, and that's what ergonomics is all about. Is helping make people's lives better, so that they go home the way they came in. They're not exhausted. And see, when you're exhausted, you make mistakes oftentimes. So, you know, that's one thing that you can always, you know, look at.
All right, you guys touched on this one during the presentation, but I think it's an interesting question anyways, and it's just simply, how do you guys come up with all these different ideas?
Well, actually, we only showed you a few of the things that we've actually done. We could have slide after slide of different things that we've actually done, and a lot of them just affect one person. You know, but those count as well. How we come up with different things is, one is our ergo competitions that we have here locally. And we'll get a lot of different ideas from different ones. And, of course, the best ones will win a prize. But we keep all those ideas and we build on them. And we try to address each and every one of them. But we'll also, because we've been trained in ergonomics, we'll go out and look at processes and, could that be better? Could we modify this to make this, take the force out of this? Could we, make things where it runs smoother? All that plays into it. We see a lot of things. And then also we even get other locations to call us and ask if we've come up with something or what can we do about certain things. And that'll spur us to help even the other locations. So, we get ideas because we listen and the ergo competitions and also from what we see ourselves.
All right. This next question sounds like it's maybe coming from someone who's thinking about implementing some ergo solutions. They ask, with these fabricated tools and equipment, how do you get them certified? So I think they're talking about things like, washing machine opener, fire extinguisher carriers, etc.
Well, what we have to do is we'll come up with different ideas, and certain things we will need to run by safety, and we'll also run it by engineering. And several, different things, and they'll actually sometimes safety will come up with, I'd say, hey, you need to do this a little bit differently. You need to add a different safety device onto this product here that you come up with. So we'll have to take those ideas once we talk to our safety department and also our engineering department, and we'll actually talk to them and get their feedback and try to implement those things into the devices that we make.
And we also have a external company that does help us build some of our, build upon some of our more intricate, designs and builds.
Yeah, we do have some ones that will help us to make those things that have devices that we don't have, that can actually make them production models even, so that others can buy what we come up with.
That's super interesting stuff. So we've just got a little bit of time here left, so I'll just throw out one more question from myself here that I'm curious about. What's been your favorite project to work on out of all these?
Wow. Well, I guess for me, would be the fire hook, because to be quite honest, we helped the fire division out with that solution. But you know what? To this day, we've never set foot in a fire division. So we've never even been there, but we came up with a solution for them by going over Zoom and sending products back and forth through the mail, so that, we made the changes and had meetings with them. But we actually have never even set foot in the fire division, but we've helped it.
And like for me, my favorite would be the trolley tugger, because I really enjoy, tinkering and building things and making mechanisms, and I like the complexity of it and the different things that we had to do, like adding the springs to keep constant tension and stuff like that. It really played into the background of what I like to do.
Yeah, and that was a good one, because it really helped Heather out. It made her job so much better. She loved it. So she was one that would come up and give you a hug for it. So, it helps. That was another good project.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today, everybody. Thank you so much, Brian and Woody, for the presentation. As I mentioned, we will post this to our Fluke Reliability YouTube channel. And I'll also just mention that we have an excellent webinar coming up here on November 30th with Joe Kuhn, who's a longtime plant manager that's going to talk to us about how to avoid best practice implementation failures. You can find information about all of our upcoming webinars at accelix.com. That's ACCELIX.com. And with that, I think we can conclude today's webinar. Brian and Woody, is there any closing thoughts you wanted to leave us with today before we end the call?
Well, I guess basically, as we talked about throughout the entire thing, hopefully from what we've talked about, you can see that your desire needs to be to help people. And if you have that desire, well, these ideas are going to come to you. And, talk it out. Don't be afraid to fail. bounce ideas off of others. If you do that, you're going to come up with the best ideas.
Yeah, and become that ergo game changer in your organization.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you to everyone who joined us. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.